Hello, hello, my beautiful people. Is Adriana, your host of Perspective Podcast. And I am so pleased today to have such a beautiful, loving, amazing guest today. And I will tell you all about it in a second. But I want to welcome everyone. Welcome to Perspective Podcast, where we explore the stories that shift perspectives and also inspire on transformation. So welcome everyone. Welcome back to our another amazing podcast episode. And today I have such an honor and amazing thrill to have my beautiful friend that we've been quite friends for a long time now, and I'm so excited to have her, Diana Ash, and I have the same name. For those that doesn't know, my name is Diana too. So I'm so excited to have you, Diana. Hello, hello.
Hello, thank you so much. First of all, it's so great to see you, and I'm so glad to be able to be here with you and to speak to your network and just to see what you've done with your growth. I know, like you said, we've known each other for so long, so to just see where you're at right now is so inspiring for me, and I just love your fire. So thank you for having me here to speak to your network. It's a true honor.
It's exciting. We even had a coffee a coffee gather before this, and we were catching up with so many things because our life are definitely switching and changing as this year pass, and it's always beautiful to reconnect. And I know sometimes life is taking us so busy, and then you wake up 6 months later. It's been 6 months I didn't talk with you. I think it's time to reconnect and talk now. But we have beautiful lives, and we enjoy to see how this journey is taking us. So Diana, I would love to dive into and ask you through share a little bit of the of your story and how to people to know you a little bit more, and also share a pivotal moment that you have realized that you had to change your perspective of how you see life.
Yeah, I'd love to. So, just to give a little quick summary of sort of what I've gone through over the last few years to share with your network. So I was living life sort of in the fast lane, like everybody else, going to work, having so many projects, wanting to travel. Everything was sort of aligned. And at 33 years old, I started feeling, not so great health-wise. And eventually I got a diagnosis that was ovarian cancer. So it totally shifted my life upside down, if you want, with a diagnosis like that when you least expect it. And as a result of that, I ended up going through surgery, chemotherapy, treatments for what spanned over 2 years. So whether we want it or not, when you get a diagnosis that is not predictable or you don't expect it, it throws this massive curveball in your life, and you have no choice but to adapt. So I think the pivotal moment for me when my perspective actually shifts is, when you can't necessarily control what is happening to you or to your environment or to your situation, to your health. The only choice that you have in that moment is really to change how you perceive that situation. So, the meaning that you associate to that, your thoughts in moments of anxiety, of fear, you have control over that. You have control over your reactions. So that was probably the biggest massive lesson and transformation through this, is that, as much as I wanted the situation to go away and to change it, to pretend like it never happened, I was living it, I was in it. And the only thing that I could do is get to a place eventually of acceptance. And, acceptance doesn't mean that you are happy with what is happening with you or that you agree with what you're going through. It's just you accept the moment for what it is. And then you make a conscious choice to see the beauty that still remains in that, or the lessons that lie in that. Because I still believe that in our darkest moments, that there is still a lot of beauty. It's just sometimes hard to see it in the fog. But, if you make a point to focus on that, you'll see that there are still many blessings in your moments where you feel like everything is falling apart.
It's so true, and I love how you said that the acceptation doesn't mean you have to just accept what you are and just
Hmm.
sit with it, but it's important to become like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is the facts. The facts are that this is happening to me with my body, and okay, what can I do?
Exactly.
And what would you say that will be your, like, the toughest lessons you had to learn through this journey, which wasn't an easy one, because it doesn't affect, I think, cancer or any kind of disease. It doesn't affect just your body. I think it affects
Exactly.
your mindset and your emotional states so much. What would be like the toughest lesson you had to learn about yourself, if I can say that?
Yeah, there were a lot of lessons. So the main one, obviously, acceptance was a big piece. I think that it took me a long time to get to that point. Also accepting that things will not necessarily go back to what they once were. I think that was a big reality check for me too, is that once you go through an event that has such a massive impact on your life, even if you come out of it on the other end, you are transformed. You've changed. You've witnessed too much. You've experienced too much. You've learned lessons along the way. So you are a different person when you come out of that. Cancer, huge toll on your physical body. And it's like night and day. I was healthy. I was running, I had minor symptoms. Never did I for a moment think it was cancer until I got that diagnosis. And immediately you're thrown into surgery, major surgery, which again, it takes a while for your body to recover from that. You don't even have time to recover from surgery that you're under chemotherapy, sometimes under radiation. I didn't go under radiation, but these are treatments that basically have to destroy your body cells so that your body can recreate new cells. That's the whole concept of chemotherapy. So you're literally watching your body deteriorate at such a rapid pace. And it's not something like you have a cold for 24 hours or a stomach bug, that you forget about it. The weekend comes around or, a few days later. You're in it for years sometimes. So the toll that it takes on your mental health is actually, I think, quite significant, to the point that I think we should be talking about it a lot more, right? There's so much associated with cancer in terms of anxiety, depression, fears, and all that. So why is that, not being spoken about? It's because you're so focused on your physical health. That's the thing that you're seeing in that moment that needs help. And the way our medical system is set up today too is that you treat the cause, right? You don't treat the cause, sorry, you treat the symptoms. So you treat the symptoms, but you don't address the cause. And the cause is often something, our bodies deteriorate over time. So over time, the stress, the foods that we eat, all of this has such a massive impact that, it's important to look at how you're feeling even throughout the day. I think that your body's constantly sending you messages. It's telling you what it needs in that moment in time. If you're anxious, if you're, suffering with depression, like these are your body is trying to send you these signals. They need to be addressed. And I think we've brushed those to the side a little bit. We've accepted them as part of who we are and just go on with our day to day. So definitely the impact from a mental, emotional, a spiritual, financial, all of these are impacted when you go through a diagnosis like cancer, and it affects your entire being. So I really, as much as there's a physical health of it, there's so much more that is attached, that physical healing part that needs to take place to restore your body after the fact. And I think that's what needs to be highlighted.
And all of this, I know you wrote it in your book, no? Show
Yes.
you, show us, show us, show us, show us your new
Yes.
book. Look at
Oh,
it, pretty.
so this is not the final version. I'm doing the final edits of it, and then September 10th, the book will be available on Amazon, paperback, and Kindle. So yeah, the book is obviously, like, it starts with my story because I want people to understand what it's like to navigate a cancer diagnosis in your early 30s when, your friends, everybody else is kind of living their life and you feel kind of isolated in that diagnosis, or not necessarily knowing a lot of people that are living the same reality as you are. But after that, I really go into, I talk about self-advocacy a lot because I think that's important. Building a support network, building an unshakable mindset, addressing your emotional traumas. All of this is addressed in the book as well. I talk about spirituality, just because I think it's so important to talk about life after cancer as well. There's a whole chapter about life beyond cancer, how to deal with survivor's guilt, how to live with purpose. I think when your life is shaken like that, you kind of get a wake up call, and once you make it through that, you realize, wow, I've been given a second chance. So what am I going to do with the second chance? What does this mean? Like, do I want to go after all my dreams and my goals? Like, this is it, so it shifts your perspective once again in terms of how you're living your life and what you want out of life.
Yeah, I I can only say is, if people says like, yeah, I get it. No, you don't. Until you don't go through a journey, a similar journey, you cannot even, it's hard even to imagine what it means or what it takes from for a human, and from a human, man or woman, whatever you're going through, it's, it takes because like you said, it's affecting every single part of your life. Every area of your life is affected.
Yeah.
Financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, you name it, all of them are affected at once in the same time.
Yes.
Sometimes if you have a financially problem, you might be a bit of stress, but it's just one area of your life. But this affects even your relationships. Everything
Yes.
affects everything.
Everything.
Yeah. What would you
Everything's
say
affected.
that as you went through this, and you have literally rediscovered, rebirthed yourself, like you said, you took your power back, the same as the book.
Yeah.
You had to take your power back because you felt like you lost it. But when you say, even the word, when you say I lost it, this mean that you already had it at one point. You just had to learn how to bring that power back.
Yeah.
But when you brought that power back, you came up a little bit different, because now you have such a different perspective of what life looks like in your eyes after cancer. How this impacted even the people around you, because this, a situation like this, it doesn't impact just you, it's impacting so many people around you. How this impacted people around you during this journey, and then even afterwards. Did you lose friends? Did you gain friends? Your relationship changes because of this, because
Hmm.
you had to change. You
Yeah.
literally cocoon yourself to a different human.
Yeah, that's such a great question. The impact that it has on the relationships during and after, definitely massive shifts. And when you go through a cancer diagnosis, talking about taking back your power. Like often you'll suddenly feel like a victim to a disease that you have no control over. So this is, consuming your body. The decisions with regards to how to restore your body, oftentimes, you are going from one appointment to another appointment. You have this overflow of information that is poured to you, and sometimes you don't even have time to process what is happening to you. So you're going from one appointment to, one procedure, and you feel completely like you've lost control of your entire life, and everything is unraveling. Your relationships are unraveling, your work, suddenly you're out of the workplace. So it really touches on everything, and it's easy to feel like, well, I'm here and I've lost total control, when in reality, the purpose of this book is like, no, even though you're going through this, like, you have a choice. Like, you can decide what kind of patient you want to be. Do you want to be an informed patient? Do you want, to let somebody else make the decisions, or do you want to be an active player in that part? And, how does that look, right? Because cancer, if you're going through chemotherapy, chances are there's a great chance that your physical body is also changing through that process. So the moment that I lost my hair and suddenly I was losing my eyebrows, and, people look at you differently too. It's like, so, yeah, I even look at myself differently. I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I don't recognize who I see, and I don't like who I see. So there's a huge chapter about self-worth in there too. And like, how do you rebuild that, right? Because you just suddenly realize that you don't look at yourself the same way. That means other people don't look at you the same way either. There's pity, there's fear, and you kind of, you're navigating your health, but you're also navigating, your surrounding through that. And there's something beautiful that happens through that journey as well, is that as you do lose people along the way, and I think that's just part of the cycle of life too. Whether you're going through cancer or not, people come into your life, people go out of your life. But when you go through a difficult period, what I've learned is that, sometimes people that you expect to be there are not going to be there. And it can be extremely hurtful at that time. And it's only after the fact, looking back, that I understand now that it's not as hard as it is for the individual going through it to cope with their reality. It's also hard for the people around them, their loved ones. And sometimes they don't have the capacity to be there for you in that moment in time. And they leave, right? And maybe they come back, maybe they don't. But that's just organically how things transpire when you do go through a diagnosis such as this. The beauty side of it, though, is that you also get people that come into your circle that you would never have expected. I got connected to so many incredible people just because of, the communities that I was able to be a part of. And it's unfortunate to say that, oftentimes it's because other people also have cancer or they have a loved one going through cancer. So you bond over a diagnosis, but there's so much beauty in that too. And you build these relationships that give you hope and give you strength and help you get through that period as well. So there's definitely a shift. Good, bad, however you want to label it. I think it's part of life cycles too, is, some people are going to be there for your entire life. We talked about this. Some people come in for a season and some people come in for a day, right? But it's just how things naturally unfold.
Is to embrace the journey with all the hills and ups and downs that are coming, because
Exactly.
it's part of life. And sometimes, like you said earlier, sometimes it's so much good and so much gold into the darkness, because if I dare to say, if this didn't happen to you, you not have been where you are today. No.
Exactly. There's so much that I came through that, right? Like the person that I am now coming out of it is very different than the person I was going into it or throughout it. And you transform at a very rapid pace. You have no choice. Life kind of throws you these lessons that you take along the way. And as much as, I hope to never have to go through that experience again, nor do I want anybody to have to experience that. What I gained from it has been so valuable for me in how I live my life right now and how I view life. Like everybody else, I still go through the same frustrations, through the same, routine. But I feel that because of what I've lived through, I can remind myself that life is really what you make of it. And we're lucky for the fact that we're even here. We get an extra day, that we have an opportunity to live differently, to make a different choice, to, if something doesn't align with us, to say, okay, I don't have to do this, I'll do something different. You have that choice. And I think there's so much power and beauty in that, knowing that I'm in the driver's seat. It's my life. I get to decide how I want to rebuild it from now on. From today on, how's that going to look like?
Yes, it's like you said, it's almost like you realize you got a second chance, and you could have not get a second chance. It's like,
Exactly.
it's something that I think is stuck with you, that whatever that is, cancer or an accident or anything in your life, when you realize that this could have been so much worse than
Hmm.
what it is now. It's something that always stuck with me, to remind myself when, I have moments when I'm pity crying in my own sorrow
We
there.
all have that.
Yes, we all have that, to remind myself, like, do you know that this is actually good? It could have been so much worse than that. And that it's a beauty in what they say, a blessing in disguise.
It is.
And
Yeah,
what great lessons you got to learn from this journey. I don't think you can have learned it in any other way or shape or form than
that's
just
true.
this. And like you said, nobody wished this to happen. But sometimes I feel like that's the only way we can learn things, is that the universe
I
comes
know.
a 2x4, take a 2x4, universal 2x4, and hit you hard, be able to be able to go so down and so deep into you, to be able to see all those beauties that they are there for us to live in this life and experience in this life. No?
100%. Yeah, you
Well,
really have to kind of take it for what it is. And like you said, you get hit hard sometimes to learn those lessons. But I really want to believe that people can learn from other people's mistakes, and I think we can to a certain extent, but it's only when you get hit so hard, like you said, that you're forced to go within yourself. And I think that's the hardest thing. Are we prepared to face ourselves? And sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to say, okay, now I'm ready to go and look at all those dark spaces that I haven't been addressing, that I don't want to come to the surface, but now I have to.
you were mentioning earlier about, even when you wrote the book, that can be sometimes difficult, because when you go through the book, like you said, you almost have to go back somehow through similar emotions and similar struggles you've been through. And but I feel like now you not relieve them, because you have a different perspective of seeing them, because now you are the other side of knowing the beauty, the greatness that they came with. No.
Yeah, definitely. I think writing the book now, so I started writing the book right after treatment, and I stopped. One, it was very difficult. Two, it was so fresh in my mind. Now, I was diagnosed in 2019. So it's going to be 5 years in the spring, which gives me, enough time to come out on the other side and live life after cancer, to look back and pull out the lessons. So the first part of the book, although it's my story, like the more than like 3/4 is lessons learned through that story that I wanted to share. And I think it's because I was able to gain that perspective looking back and being like, okay, this was really bad at the time, but this is what I gained from it. The first part is hard to read through because it just brings me back to, being in the hospital and remembering exactly how I felt in that moment. It's ingrained in your memory. So part of you is like, oh my God, this is tough, but I made it out. So it's kind of an emotional journey to read that as well. And I talk about survivor's guilt in there too, is that you realize that there are so many people that are getting the same diagnosis every day and that are living that. So it's hard to sometimes read through it and see that, this is a reality that affects so many people. Everybody knows somebody that's been affected by cancer somehow. So I really wanted to raise awareness on ovarian cancer. I really wanted to bring a focus on young women affected by cancer, because I think we do have certain challenges that are not spoken of, rebuilding your life, fertility treatments, like all of this stuff. If you haven't built your family, it's like there are certain dreams that are taken away from you. So to read through that and realize the loss that came with a cancer diagnosis is not always easy. But then I also go back and I highlight everything that I've gained through that. So you get both sides of the medal, and you realize that other women are in the thick of it and they might not have gained those lessons yet. Like, they're still only seeing what they've lost, and that makes it hard for me.
When you mentioned that, go back to reading the book, if you could have go back to that Diana of when she was in the midst of all of this, what would be something that you will take from you now, from Diana now, to take with you, to give it to her as advice, as an image, as a object, as a memory, to bring it to her then?
Ooh, that is good. What would I bring? I think hope. Hope goes such a long way. And when you're in the thick of it, sometimes you lose the sight of the light. The cancer world, unfortunately, has a lot of mortality. It has a lot of dark days, and it's easy to get caught in that and believe that that's the only outcome. So when you're in it, focusing on success stories and focusing on what could be a positive outcome is your lifeline. And if you have that right from the beginning, and if you can hold on to that hope, and that will carry you through any challenges that you have. And my story is a success story in the sense that I was able to come out of that and rebuild a life. And I know that a lot of people don't get that opportunity, but you can still have success regardless of your prognosis, regardless of your outcome, because our days are limited, whether we have cancer or not. So you get to choose how you want to live every single day, whether you have an illness, whether you are healthy. Like, that choice is within your power. And we always have to believe that our brighter days are ahead of us. I think when you hold on to that, that gives you the stamina. And mindset goes such a long way too, is that oftentimes it's your mind that will give up before your body. So if you can help your mind stay on track, you're ahead of the game.
So I love that, love that. Yes, hope is something that I feel like in these days we all need it. I think so
Yeah.
many people are hopeless. They think that this is it. That's how I I live my life. There's no other way. And I think it's hope is something that we all need a little bit more. And I know that with your book, you will be able to bring that to the world, and especially those that are going to similar adversity that you have been through, especially, overcome cancer, which is, like we said, cancer is not just the physical cancer, but it's literally mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially as well too, because people don't talk about those parts as well. And I'm so excited. So everyone, please let us know. Let us know when you get the book. Please connect with Diana and tell her what was your favorite chapter. What was the thing
Thank
that
you.
stood out for you most? And I'm all excited too. I'm the first one. I told you I'm the first one on the
Yes,
line.
it's coming.
It's coming. So let us know again where people can find it, how people can connect with you, and the date. So it's September 10. So it's around the
September
corner.
10th. Yeah, it'll be available anywhere on Amazon. So you can get the Kindle version, which is the ebook, and then you also have access to the paperback. You can pre-order the ebook right now. If you go on Amazon, the link is in my bio on Instagram. So my handle is _dash so you can find it in the link in my bio, and then I will update all that once the paperback is available on the day of the
Yes,
release.
and we will drop. I will get all those links, and we drop them in the show
Perfect.
notes of these episodes, and people can find them there, and they can pre-order their book. But I want the paper.
The
I need
paper,
the
yeah.
paper, and then just in front of everybody here, if you can sign it too, so I know it's mine,
Yes.
for me.
I'll get a specific one for you, and I'll write a message and I'll send it to you personally. So
Yes,
it's
yes, yes,
coming.
yes, please, 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 yes.
Actually, the paperback is I love paperback, and I know
Yes.
like it's I'm trying to go more Kindle because it's easier to travel and paper, but this book actually has worksheets in it. There's a lot of self-reflection, there's a lot of self-assessment. So, it's as much as there's a story and I talk about my story, I also get you guys to do some work. Not easy work, but it's that whole concept of going inward and really getting to know yourself on a deeper level and what you want. So the paperback is beautiful for that because you can actually write in it. And you can do it in a Kindle too. It's just I guess I'm old school. I like a pen and paper. But that might help the viewers also decide what kind of book that they want.
Definitely. I love books. I bought a lot of books that they're like kind of workbooks where you can not just read, but you always can write and keep working on it. And it's beautiful sometimes to write it even on a pencil and then go back, a year
Yeah,
later and look at it, and then you can redo it, and you even your mind changes, like, oh, that's how I think then, and this is
it's
how
true. It's true. Yeah,
us.
it's actually beautiful to see that. I love doing that as well. It's like, oh, okay, this is how I perceived it at the time, talking about perceptions, right? Your own perception shifts so many times that it's kind of neat to see those patterns.
Yeah, you see your own growth too on
Yeah.
it's on a piece of paper. Like I love journals. I think I have like journals and notebook. Girls like shoes. I like books.
I'm the same. I'm the same. I have one in every room. I'm like, okay, I don't remember what I'm writing in which one.
Doesn't matter. You just keep writing on it. Awesome. It's absolutely incredible. So everyone, please join us on the September 10 when Diana's going to do her launch of her book. We are excited. If you want to pre-order, you can pre-order it on Amazon. We're going to drop all the links in the show notes. And also I have at the final, where I have 3 fire questions for you. You can answer them as you want. The first question will be, what is the one thing that you do every day to bring you joy?
One thing that I do every day, I think it's my gratitude journal. For me, it's like it's a moment of peace. It's a moment with myself, and it's a moment to really focus on the good in my life. And that's a habit that you can build, and I had to build that habit. But it's my favorite time. It's in the mornings. I do it with a cup of coffee, and it's just that's the moment for me, and I get to remind myself of the beautiful gifts that life provides us, regardless of the day, regardless of where I am. It's simple and it's easy, and yeah, it's something that's extremely powerful.
I love that. I don't do it every day. Sometimes I do it in the night, but it's something that it's another thing is beautiful to go back and read. when
Yes.
especially in the days when you feel like you're grumpy and it's like, oh, I have
Yeah.
nothing, like I have nothing to be grateful for. You open up and you go back and you
It's
read those
true.
things, and you can remind yourself from the past you, now how many beautiful things you always have to
It's so
you have to
true.
be grateful. Yeah. Second question: if you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who that would be and why?
Good question. There's so many people. Okay. Who would that be? Okay, okay, it would be Lance Armstrong. And the reason why is, so his book, he was diagnosed with cancer. He had testicular cancer when he was in the prime of his life. So I really bonded with his story, and the type of treatment that he went through was pretty much almost the same as what I went through. So his book actually helped me a lot through my journey and my treatment, and he's built his life after cancer too, right? So that was an individual that indirectly had such a huge impact on me in that phase of my life, that I just instantly created like this bond through the book and the way that he was sharing his story, and it gave me that light, it gave me that hope. So yeah, if I could have dinner with anybody, I think it would be him, to just thank him and say, you know what, like your story, the fact that you opened up about it, the fact that you sort of laid the groundwork for me to understand what that would look like, was really powerful.
I love that. I love that. That would be so cool if we can, actually have, especially people that are not here anymore, to sit down for coffee, and then even show them how their legacy or their lessons influence years and years after there are so many people. And it's that ripple effect that now it's your time to give that to other
Yeah.
people. It's beautiful. And that takes me to my last question. What do you hope that your legacy will be?
My legacy, I wanted, again, going back to hope is, I want to be able to touch on people's lives, even, indirectly, in the sense of, I hope that, when people remember me, it's going to be, well, no matter her circumstances, she was able to still shine light on other people. So that's kind of my mission right now with this book and this impact. I've been able to go through this, come out of it, gain some lessons, and if I can share those with others and it can help others, I I've done my work. I've been able to help others that are struggling, that are going through a major life transformation and one of their darkest periods of their life. And if I can be a minor source of like a spark, like for me, that's enough to say that I've done what I could do.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. It's a beautiful message to bring to the world, and I know you bring it through this book. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the book. You want to show, please, please. I love it. I love even the cover. Show
The
us the
cover?
book.
Yeah, so
Yes,
you
yes.
can't see, but it's a
It's a
butterfly, and there's the
butterfly. Yes,
cancer. Yeah, there's the cancer ribbon, which teal is the color of ovarian cancer. So it was
yes.
like very the Heidi's the
Meaningful.
one who did the cover. She did such a great job because she brought to life my vision, and the letters of power have like a silver lining around it, because you should always have a silver lining in life that you're focusing on. So it's very detailed. It was very personal, and I feel like it's exactly the message that I wanted to share with my readers. So yeah, I'm very happy with the way that the cover. It's simple, it's basic, but there's so much meaning behind it.
Yes, I am so proud of you, and I'm so excited to see it, to feel it in my hands and smell it. The new book
The
smell.
new book.
The new book smell. I'm so excited. It's gonna be such amazing. We're gonna definitely drop in the show notes all the links. And I just want to say thank you, Diana. Thank you so much for yourself, to thank to you, because you always had hope. You always stood up for yourself. You've been there. You took your power back. Doesn't matter how many times your power was taken away from you, and you always stood out. And now it's like you felt like it's your duty to turn this back, and then help other people to take their own power back. So I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here, to share with my audience what your own journey, your own perspective, and how you had and you got the opportunity to change your perspective of how you see your life. Doesn't matter what life throws to you. So thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Big
Thank you
hug.
so much for having me too and letting me speak about my story and share a little bit about the book and my purpose with this. So just being able to speak to your audience, like I said, is such a great gift to me. So I love you for that. Mwah. Thank you so much. And obviously I always love working with you. So that's an honor as well. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much, everyone, for listening our Perspective podcast with our special guest today. And she's a cancer survivor and amazing author, Diana Ash. And it's just my dear friend. And I'm excited to continue. Then maybe we bring her back if she wants to join us back to another time, maybe with her second book or another amazing thing she will accomplish for sure. And if you enjoy this episode, please subscribe and share it with some of your friends and maybe someone that needs to hear here that's going through cancer, is going through a hard time or adversity in their life. And Diana can be that hope that they're looking for and they don't think they have it anymore. So remember, in the end, everything in life is just a perspective. Thank you so much to everyone, and I will see you next time. Until then, like I always say, live your life like it's truly yours. Bye bye.